Now it's time for Pound for Pound ATL.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with my main man, Toby D. We are Pound for Pound ATL live, coming at you live, obviously, on a Tuesday night. And we appreciate y'all joining with us, the ones who are already here right now. And we got some big things to talk about. No pun. Well, I guess all puns intended. We got some interesting stuff to dive into today, but before we get into it, man, what's going on, Toby D? How you doing today?
Man, ain't nothing going on, man. J.J. Wilcox is back in the building, man. That's what's going on right now.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
J.J. Wilcox is back in the building. That was an interesting. He was the guy we got excited for last year that we didn't get a chance to see. You know, we didn't get to see the fruits of that labor, so to speak, because he tore his ACL. Was it his ACL? I'm having okay. Yeah. He tore his ACL in camp last year, pretty early on in camp too. So we didn't get to see the fruition of the rumblings of the big nickel that we kind of heard going into camp last year. So with the addition of J.J. Wilcox and Dennard, and with the guys that we already have with Keanu Neal and DeMonte Casey and Ricardo Allen, it looks like, at least to the untrained eye, it looks like we're going to be playing a lot of big nickel and a lot of big dime this year. What are your early thoughts on stuff like that?
Man, I'm all for it, man. I mean, if we can get a healthy Keanu Neal, definitely tone setter, man, to really set that big nickel off, man. That's going to really do some things for the Atlanta Falcons. J.J. Wilcox getting out there with Keanu Neal, he has hard-hitting potential as well and can play both free safety and strong safety. So I'm excited about that, man. But, I mean, right now, man, our safety group, that just really just boosted our safety group right now, man.
For sure.
I'm excited about this safety.
I really feel like that they're going to try to use this safety group to maybe offset some of this inexperience of the cornerback group that we have right now. I mean, you're going to be rolling out there with a shaky Isaiah Oliver, a first-round pick in A.J. Terrell as your initial starting outside corners. Now, as we have stated before, Isaiah Oliver, his job is still kind of up in the air a little bit. Ain't nothing guaranteed with him right this minute because he did once again start off playing atrociously in the beginning of last season. Now he started to get a little bit more solid when Raheem Morris came back to that side of the ball, but I'll be interested to see where his confidence level is at the beginning of the season, especially with everything that's gone on so far. So it really feels like that they're going to try to do the best they can to have their leadership, have their experience in the secondary come from the safety group,
I wouldn't object to any of that right now because, like you said, I mean, and not only that, we got a lot of tight ends we got to face this year, and a lot of teams like to play 12 personnel with 2 tight end sets, 13 personnel with 3 tight end sets. So starting off the rip, man, we're gonna have to see our share of tight ends them first 5 weeks of the season.
Yes, that is no joke there. That we're gonna have to to deal with them, and then to piggyback off of our live stream last week, also having to deal with a lot of very experienced running backs, very capable running backs.
Yeah.
So you're going to need that enforcement on the field, and that, you know, that's one of the concerns, I guess you could say, one of the major drawbacks of running primarily Tampa 2 defense, which is what I feel like we're going to run this year with Raheem Morris at the helm, is that you have a tougher time of stopping runs up the middle, right? You're good on stopping stuff on the outsides, but, you know, stopping stuff running up the middle may be a little tougher, and I think that's where the guys like J.J. Wilcox and Keanu O'Neal are going to come in handy, you know, because if you're running two deep safeties, as in, you know, Ricardo Allen and KZ, but you're running a big nickel, so now you got Wilcox or Keanu O'Neal on the field, you know, in place of either a linebacker or even a corner, depending on how you want to do it. You know, it gives a real chance for a lot of coverage mixes, which I think will only do nothing but help this team.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely, though, you know, we have pieces. We got to put the fear of God in.
Oh, we got to.
I'm telling you. I remember San Francisco 49ers used to play that big nickel back in 2011, man, and they used to intimidate like nobody's business. Especially those finesse offenses, man.
Yeah, you gotta hit a finesse offense, period, point blank. You got to, you know, run up and hit them. And I think with the combination of Raheem Morris and Joe Witt Jr., I think that's what these guys are going to do. They're going to try to come up and hit him and dislodge the ball. You know, that's just something that we had talked about before. Let's jump in the chat room real quick, and then we'll get on to some other topics. Wallace Smith says, "What's up, fellas? What's going on, Wallace? How are you today, sir?"
What's up?
VTW also says hello, along with Anthony Wright. We appreciate y'all guys stopping in. William Paul says, "Don't sleep on Bleedy Ray Wilson." I don't believe Toby D could sleep on Bleedy Ray if he wanted to.
No,
that right
sir.
there, my man over there
sir,
is
no.
the number one fan club of Bleedy Ray Wilson. So he is definitely not forgotten. He does provide some much needed veteran leadership in that cornerback room for sure. So no, he is definitely not right. That's right. He is definitely not forgotten. Jaden says, "What's up, guys?" Well, hey, what's going on, Jaden? Anthony Wright says, "I saw pictures of the Falcons training camp from yesterday and noticed that Calvin Ridley has put on some weight, but it's muscle." Yes. Keanu O'Neal was backpedaling, which is a good sign. Yes, any kind of movement we can see, consistent movement out of Keanu O'Neal right now is definitely a good sign. Not only did Calvin Ridley look like he put on some muscle, he looked like he was going for, like, you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger competition or whatever, man. He was looking ripped, wasn't he?
What you talking about?
Looking like a Greek Adonis over there, and man, you know, I think what was it? The Falcons put out a picture that said Calvin Ripley or whatever. Ripley. I enjoy play on words like that. So, Jimmy and Mike, or Jimmy from Down Yonder Sports, and also our Saturday show, they're in the chat with us. What's up, Jimmy? How are you doing today, sir?
Shout out, Jimmy.
Let's see. Jordan Daniel says hello. Then he says, "What do you think about the D line, though? We got depth like hell now." Yes, sir. We do have some depth for days, and with as much as Dan Quinn likes to do his D line rotation, which I still think he's going to be heavily involved in that. We're going to need that depth. That much is for sure. Let's see. VTW says, "Not really worried about the secondary and the D line. Those two work hand in hand." They do. I mean, both help each other. If you can cover, it gives the D line more chances to get to the quarterback, and if the D line can get to the quarterback, that's less that the quarterbacks have to cover, or cornerbacks have to cover. So yes, sir, they do very much go hand in hand.
One of the things we noticed in the second half of the season was a lot more coverage.
Yes, sir. Well, because they started
happening because that back end improved.
That back end improved. I think it was a huge thing. I don't know if it was. If this is an indictment on Jerome Henderson or what have you from last year, but you saw a noticed improvement in play diagnosing, in just the way that the cornerbacks for sure were reacting out there on the field. And, I think it was you sent me an article that really just described it very well as far as in the first part of the season. Isaiah Oliver, for sure, we tend to pick on him because he was a sore spot last year for sure, but he was very hesitant in the first part of the season. It's almost like he wasn't 100% sure what was coming, and so the second half of the season you saw him start to be, not more aggressive, but you saw better play recognition come out of him, and that right there is direct result in coaching, in my opinion. Is when you have a better idea of what is coming, and what to look for, that then you can react faster, or you're not caught flat-footed, or you're not fooled as easily. And so that was something that hopefully carries over, especially with the addition of Joe Witt Jr. I think that's going to potentially pay a lot of dividends there.
Well, what I'm hoping this year, man, for Isaiah Oliver, with all the cornerbacks that we have, I'm thinking we're going to probably carry 6 on the roster, that they will be able to put him in more advantages, when it comes to getting him on the field, where he's not being picked on so much doing them fly routes, because he still struggles with those 9 routes out there when guys is going deep, man. He just cannot hold on to save his life. So hopefully they'll put him in more, situations where he can take advantage of his size and his length. And he's not, you're not showing a lot of his weaknesses that of things he can't handle. But we'll see, man.
No, it's going to be really interesting to see how a lot of this stuff transpires. But I am really excited to see if and how they deploy this big nickel, big dime that it seems like they're gearing up for. Let's see here. Let's get back into some of the chat here. Y'all are rolling along pretty good today. We appreciate that. Jordan Daniel says, Ridley going to go off, homie. Yes, Ridley is probably going. I think it was Matt Ryan was quoted to saying that he already felt like Ridley was elite. So that was, he said, you ask any of the guys that got to cover him, they'll say he's elite. So that was high praise there. Quint King says, what do you think Keanu will do this year? I hope Keanu gets back to his enforcer ways. That's something that we have obviously been missing quite a bit these past 2 seasons with him being on the shelf. So I really hope he hasn't become timid with his recent injury history, because you drafted him to be your Cam Chancellor, and he was well on his way of being Cam Chancellor. So we need to get him back to that.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be hungry to get back out there. That's for sure. I want to see his 2016 form where he picks back up on those forced fumbles.
Yes, that's exactly what we need to see, those forced fumbles. Jordan Daniel says, I just want our O-line to gel this season better and grow so we can keep Matt Ryan upright. Got hit way too much last year. Obviously, yes, man, he got way too much. Almost, if not 50 sacks last year. That's a little ridiculous. But you did see, for those who are active in their Twitter game, I hope y'all saw the Brian Baldinger breakdown of Lindstrom against the San Francisco 49ers, talking about getting a whole slab of Joey Bosa's ribs there. That was an interesting, that was a good breakdown. But that was towards the end of the season. Obviously, Lindstrom had come back and was looking real good, so, and he settled down that right side quite a bit. And I think pairing him with McGarry is going to lead to some good things for sure. Let's see. Say Cheese says, Dennard is strictly a slot. His skill set isn't for the outside. I agree there. I know there's been some lip service paid so far from the coaching staff saying that he could play outside or whatever, but I want to see him to be dedicated to the slot and for the vast majority of his play. I think
there will be times where you will see him outside, depending on, the type of physicality that they want to portray in certain situations. You won't see him out there, I don't think, all the time, but I think there will be some situations where you will see him out there,
right?
Depending on what the situation is that the offense is trying to showcase on the field.
Exactly. I completely agree with that statement. Depending on what they're showing and what they're trying to do, where he will play. Let's see. Jordan Daniel also said Olsen is a tank. Send him a couple plays to wear down the D. Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of role Olsen can dig out this year for himself. Speed Falcon for life. Hey, I hadn't seen that name for a minute. What's going on, Speed? I'm glad you can join us. Anyway, BTW says, I hate that it takes Quinn to be in a playoff or bust before Dimitroff gets Quinn some pieces on the defense. So excited to see this defense this year. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They have had a very interesting. Somebody I think finally asked Dimitroff about is his intent to go out and collect all those first rounders, and he said no, it just happened to work out that way. I don't know how much I buy that.
I buy it, man.
These guys.
I'm putting no stock
right.
into
I mean,
it.
they got filing cabinets upon filing cabinets of scouting reports. They know who they were getting, and what. So Anthony Wright says, I hope they play Dennard in the slot. Yes, and move Kendall Sheffield outside. It's gonna be an interesting battle, Sheffield and Oliver. That's one that if Oliver, I see if he starts slipping early, that they may that he may get replaced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see. Say Cheese says, I understand the experience part, but Sheffield needs to grow a little bit. Grow. I mean, yeah, but we can grow with trial by fire,
You're gonna need Sheffield outside. You bet your bottom dollar about that, man. We got some speedy receivers, Robbie Anderson, Tyler Lockett, that we're gonna have to deal with this year, and he's gonna need to be out there. Isaiah Oliver's not gonna be able to hang with those guys. Robbie killed us, as a matter of fact, when we played them 2 years ago up there with the Jets at MetLife.
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to have to. They're definitely going to have to rely on mixing and matching, and I think that's something that you may see a good bit more. With the talent that they have, I don't think they're going to be afraid to try to play matchup. You know what I'm saying? Put the guy in that works the best. Quint says, do you think they drafted Terrell because of Trufant? Well, that was the only thing that I didn't necessarily like about letting go of Trufant before the draft, because it kind of forced your hand. Like, you needed to come away with a cornerback like that. When you let go of Trufant, that became like your number one need. Okay, and I don't like going into the draft with that demanding of a need. But I think the whole time, honestly, Quinn's been trying to find his guy to begin with. Since he got here, he's been trying to find his Richard Sherman, essentially. He's been trying to find the cornerback that fits the profile that he likes. And he tried it with Jalen Collins. He's tried it with Isaiah Oliver. And so far, those guys haven't panned out. So it didn't necessarily surprise me that he used first-round draft capital to go after a cornerback that fits his mold just a little bit better.
Yeah, A.J. Terrell is a lot bigger and taller than what the AtlantaFalcons.com indicates, man. He and Ricardo Allen said it, man. I mean, he looks a lot bigger than what he even expected to see out there on the field. So he looks like a guy right now, from the physical standpoint, he gonna be able to handle his business, and you can get him in slow with the guys, with the amount of corners you're gonna have for the year.
I think so. I don't think you're necessarily is going to have to. I mean, you're probably going to put him in right away. Like I said, trial by fire. But if he does struggle a little bit early, you do have guys like Bleedy Ray Wilson and DeQuez Dennard who can step outside. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses. Hopefully, apparently Sean Gomes thinks that A.J. Terrell is a joke. So I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people are right. I know a lot of people weren't necessarily pleased with that pick, and I can't necessarily say that I was 100% pleased right out the gate. But we'll see how it goes. That's why they get paid to make these decisions, not necessarily me, right?
Hey, same here.
Humble Brando said, "Is KZ cornerback 1 this year?" No, KZ at best is like he's going to be a cornerback in a pinch. His role in the NFL from college is he's definitely a safety.
And Dan Quinn already said it in the offseason that KZ, for anybody who's wondering what his position will be this year, it is safety. It's not changing unless injuries take a toll. Which let's hope to God that it does not.
That's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see him pressed into that. Onyx Oasis says, "Who will be the better pass rusher in 2020? Tack, Charles Harris, Marlin, or Kaminsky?" Now that's interesting that you threw Marlin and Kaminsky in there, because those guys are projected to be D tackles first and D ends second. I mean, there's your versatile guys. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. I say out of that group that you just listed, I'm going to give it to Tack McKinley. I'm going to give him the edge just because I think they're going to give him every opportunity they can to play it out. Now, if he ends up getting injured again, that may open the door for Charles Harris. But what do you think, Toby?
I'm going Tack right now only because 3 of his sacks out of the 3.5 sacks he had came in the second half of the season. He turned it on much better under the motivation of Raheem Morris. So I think having Dante Fowler on the other side, right now I'm giving it to Tack. I know I said in my prediction video that I believe Charles Harris might have more sacks than he would. But thinking about it, with those 3 sacks he got in the second half, I think he has a chance. And now he looks a lot more bigger and stronger this season than any.
And he's definitely, I'm going to go ahead and call it, I mean, he's definitely feeling disrespected. You know, you can look on his Instagram and now I will say this, I'm going to bring this up. I don't know if anybody said it. I hope nobody goes after him. But if you do, I don't blame you. He seems to still have dreadlocks, though. So I don't know what that says about I guess I wouldn't bet with Tack McKinley because you may not get paid.
No.
You know, but but he's still got his dreadlocks. Anthony Wright put up a thing a minute ago talking about Colin Cowherd and his predictions. The good Cowherd has us predicted to go 6-10 this year. I think that's being a little. I love. Don't get me wrong. I smile when these talking heads who don't watch the Atlanta Falcons and only go by what other talking heads have to say, predict us to be, last or whatnot. So, keep it up. That's fuel to the fire, Let's see. Travis Williams, he's giving a thumbs up to Anthony Wright, making jokes at Cowherd. He said, what do you think? They were asking, Quint King is asking us, what do we think of the Dante and Todd, he said trade. I think he means signings. We've put our feelings out there. I think I heard Dimitrov say that Todd Gurley was the fastest rising jersey that they've had.
That they've had. So that they're selling, but no surprise there because you said it's about the marketing ploy of this situation.
For sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I may make remarks and comments that may seem like I'm down on the Todd Gurley thing. I'm really not. I'm not down on Todd Gurley being here at all. I actually am glad he's here. But I think it was a PR move first, and 2 down seasons, and you need to sell tickets. And hey, you're putting out new jerseys. What better thing to do than bring home a homegrown player from the good old University of Georgia, and to help sell some of them new jerseys, which. They are starting to release a lot more pictures of the guys in the jerseys, and every time I see one, boy, they look better and better.
What you talking about?
They look good. I mean, granted, I got mine hanging over in my closet over there, but still, seeing them on people that aren't as rotund as I am make them look even better, Let's see. Wallace Smith says, let's see, after Kudus, I wonder if he's talking about Kinlaw, and Henderson went off the board. Terrell, I think they're arguing. It seems like the chat room is talking about how they're still very divided on the AJ Terrell pick. That's okay. Nature Born says, I think if special teams have a similar success as last season, it will definitely take less pressure off the defense and allow them to play a little loose. See, that's one thing that nobody really talks about and nobody brings up all that much. And we try, right? We try to bring up special teams and do videos on them, but that's not something that really gains a lot of traction. But that's also a part of why the team turned around. It did in the second half. Ben Kutwicka is doing an outstanding job on with the special teams over there, as far as like pinning people back, just getting great coverages, great returns.
Yep.
I was sad that they didn't re-sign Kenyon Barner because he did a real good job, and as far as the returns goes for us, I was really hoping that they were going to bring him back, but
I think he's a Ravens now.
Yeah, I saw that he was signed with the Ravens, but that does open the door for who's that? Chris Rowland, I think is his name.
Yep.
To potentially step in and take it. I think that's something that they're counting on. Is that guy stepping up? Look. I don't know too many times that I've seen where the Atlanta Falcons have put out a little highlight training camp package video of an undrafted free agent.
Right.
So, that says quite a bit there. Now he got some traction on the from Steve Weish from the NFL Network, because of his connections with the historic black college. So that was cool to see that he got shouted out for attending that campus there. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name. I'm pretty sure you know the name of the campus. I'm bad with names. Anyway, so let's see. Anthony Wright is talking about Tat McKinley has lost 15 to 20 pounds on his picture from yesterday's training camp. All right, well, look, whatever he's done, whether he's lost weight, whether he's gained weight, as long as he can stay healthy, I want to see a full healthy year of Tat McKinley. That's what I want to see right now.
I want to see no excuses.
Right, that's it.
I don't want to hear any excuses, whether it's him gaining weight, lost weight. That's been something the Falcons have been battling with since they signed him. Have him lose weight, have him gain weight, or he's having weight issues.
Right.
So it's been all of the above. Let's just see this guy, whatever he's done. Let's hope it works for him.
Yep.
And he can get the respect he feels he deserves for not getting his 5th-year option picked up.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly what I hope whatever fuels his fire. You know what I'm saying? Whatever has to get him going. I love that energy when he got drafted. He looks like he's giving a ton of effort out there on the field. I just need to produce it, and not necessarily sack numbers. I'm not necessarily caught up in sack numbers, but I need him to be more of a factor on the game on a consistent basis. That's what I need from Tat McKinley, and it'll be interesting to see, if something we'll get into here in a minute, whether we're going to be able to afford to re-sign him regardless. Hey, Jew Talk Sports jumped in. What's up, Jew? How are you doing, sir?
What's up, Jew?
I'm glad you decided to stop by, man.
Talk Sports.
BTW agrees. He says, I agree with the Gurley take. We shouldn't expect to see the offensive MVP. Close to that would be great. Yes, I agree. Anything that, a healthy year of Todd Gurley would also be very nice. Anthony Wright talking about bringing back middle linebacker Leroy Reynolds. Yeah, as far as special teams goes, I think that helps a lot. You're missing a special teams ace, as whether he didn't produce much on offense, but Justin Hardy was a very good, special teams player. And so you had to replace that with another really good special teams player. And Leroy Reynolds is that guy. He's a very good special teams player.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because while you said that, let me shout out Jimmy and Mike, man, because they did a great job on video last week, Saturday night, about the 12 free agents that we probably remember or don't remember we signed. And Leroy Reynolds was definitely one of the guys that went under the radar because we had so many top signings that we had for the year, for the season, off season.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all check that video out. I'm going to that video up here after this show is over, so you'll be able to
There you
click
go.
it if you want.
Wallace Smith says, "I want to ask y'all something. Do we run out a 3-4 defense, or we run a lot of nickel that looks like 3-4 defense? Tell me what y'all think." All right, Wallace, I'm gonna dress it out as plain and clear as I can be here. Raheem Morris is your defensive coordinator. Raheem Morris runs a Tampa 2, and that is a 4-3 defense. Okay, he is running with 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers. So I've been seeing some things floating around while thinking that we're going to try to run out a 3-4 defense again. That ain't going to happen. I mean, Dan Quinn is primarily a 4-3 defensive coordinator anyway. I know he dabbled with some, 3-5-2 crap or whatever, that 3-3-5 stuff last year. But we are a 4-3 defense that is going to be primarily a cover 2 defense. Whether it is a true Tampa 2 with the, 2 deep safeties and a middle linebacker dropping, or the, a cover 2 shell with playing man underneath. It's definitely you're going to see a lot more, 2 deep safety looks.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, and I know we have a lot of knowledgeable football fans out there. Personnel is the key.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to look at. What personnel is on the field? If you got linebackers on the field that are really traditional linebackers, but they give the appearance of a 3-4 defense, that's still a 4-3 defense. Right. If I got somebody like Devondre Campbell out there lined up with the 4 down linemen, that is still a 4-3 defense because he is not technically a pass rusher. Right. He might be coming in on a blitz. Okay, which I do project us doing a lot of that this year, blitzing like crazy. That's just my take. Mm-hmm. But I look at the personnel that's out there. Now, if there are 3 down linemen in the middle, and you got Dante Fowler and Tat McKinley in that 5-2 defense that we tried to trot out there last year, now we talking about a 3-4 defense. But other than that, giving an appearance of a look of a 3-4 is different than actually being a 3-4 defense. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
I mean, giving appearances is just as important on the defense as it is on the offense. We talk about it on the offense quite a bit, as far as 12 personnel and 13 personnel and all this other stuff. Right. But, switching up your personnel on defense is just as important to try to confuse your offense, try to confuse what the quarterback's looking at, and see if you can't, get an easy pick. You know what I'm saying? Right. Let's see here. Jordan Daniel says, Charles Harris going under the radar too. But he was a high prospect first round, so I mean him coming in the line, Grady Jarrett, yeah. I think they're just discussing the likelihood of Charles Harris, because Anthony Wright said Charles Harris will be pushing Tack for that right DN spot. I hope so. I mean, I really do. I really hope that I believe that they brought in Charles Harris for 2 reasons. One is an insurance policy for Tack McKinley, and 2, to push Tack McKinley. You brought in Charles Harris for the simple reason of pushing and, guarding against Tack McKinley getting injured. Because when he went down last year, you had to turn to the likes of Austin Larkin. And nothing against Austin Larkin, but I would rather not have to turn to an undrafted free agent to get me sacks. Yeah. It's all.
And I was.
No, I was going to say, it's one thing to turn to an undrafted free agent to catch a ball every now and again. But, to produce sacks, I need consistency. That's what I need,
Yeah. Now, and I will say this on top of what you said. I think another thing is they feel like they will be able to afford one of those 2 guys next season if it should come down to it. If Tack prices himself out of Atlanta because he's ticked, because he didn't get his 5th-year option picked up, and he wants out, I think they feel like they're going to roll the dice on one of these 2 guys to keep here in Atlanta in 2021.
Let's see. Jamil Riggin says, "Hi guys, I love the show. Keep working for us fans. # rise up." Hey man, we working for us fans too. We do this as that's it, man. We do this because we enjoy doing it. Let's see. Jerry says, "Who's starting left guard? Carpenter, McCray or Hennessy. My money right now is either on Carpenter or Hennessy. I think McCray, the cat that we signed from the Browns, I think he is this year's, Ty Sombrello, but a better version. Somebody who can come in in a pinch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that battle is going to come down between Carpenter and Hennessy. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to go ahead and just give it to Carpenter. In just experience at this junction. And that's only because Hennessy is primarily played center. So he's going to be learning a new position. So at least to start off with, I'll give it to Carpenter. What about you?
I'm putting my money on Matt Hennessy. Okay.
You're going to go with a rookie.
It's already been put out there that he's already shown his smarts along with A.J. Terrell. Capable of learning, picking the offense up real quickly. And, albeit virtual, I think he brings a nastiness to it that you're going to want out there on the field, and I think he's going to pick up quickly to be able to man that spot. Yeah, he got to earn it. He's got to go through some guys: Jamon Brown, James Carpenter, Justin McCray. He's got to go through about 3 other guys in front of him in order to get it. But I think at the end of the day, at some point, he's going to earn that position at left guard. That's just my take.
I got you. All right. Hey, I'm down. Look, at the end of the day, if you earn it, I'm down. I don't care who you are. Yeah. I don't care if you're undrafted. I don't care if you're a 12-year vet. If you go out there and earn it, then I'm down with it. Let's see. Quentin King says, how long does Julio have left in the league? I don't know. This year's going to be, I think, a pivotal year as far as really showing you where Julio's at. Because I think Julio, in a lot of ways, I think he can be your next Fitzgerald. Because they tried to count off Fitzgerald, I don't know how many times. It seems like every offseason we're trying to count out Larry Fitzgerald. So I think that Julio Jones could easily have. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if he had another 5 years easy in this league.
Yeah.
Probably another two years as being like top of the league. And then you might start having like the downward trend years. Now I think you could easily have 3-4 years of a downward trend. So I'm gonna give Julio 5-6 because I like him. I think Julio's awesome.
Well, I'm going to say this because I'm glad we're talking about this, Todd. You did mention something about us talking about the Falcons cap or whatever for
it's gonna be interesting
next season. With the situation with the COVID-19, it could cause the Falcons to make some very difficult decisions in 2021. And I'm just going to say it. I know I'm probably going to have a lot of Falcons fans mad at me. But a Julio Jones at the top of this game, you may not have a choice but to be open-minded to a trade for him in 2021.
I don't know. It's look, man. It's already popping off in the chat room. They talking not about Julio, but Sean Gomes is over here trying to get rid of our quarterback. It seems like we get one.
And I'm just saying, Doc.
Look, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. You ain't gonna get rid of the quarterback. I know a lot of y'all folks out there, for whatever reason, don't like Ryan. I am not one of those people.
Yeah.
I am a Ryan sympathist. I don't care. Y'all can label me whatever you want to label me. He's the best. He's the best quarterback this franchise has ever had, and y'all gonna miss him when he's gone. And that's all I'll say there. Y'all can argue about it in the chat room. But as far as Julio Jones goes, man, I don't know. They might be riots in the streets if you trade Julio Jones. I mean,
they might be, but with the cap being what it is, they say the Falcons are already to be protected to be over the cap in 2021 because of the cap situation.
Yeah, I mean, that much is for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see what Thomas Dimitroff pulls off. And it may be the likes of, Tack McKinley not getting re-signed, Todd Gurley not getting re-signed. You might be looking at, guys like, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Grady Jarrett, and Deion Jones. You're probably going to be converting a lot of their salary into bonuses and pushing that stuff further down the line, kind of deal. You're going to have to get creative, but I can't see them getting rid of number 2 or getting rid of number 11. I mean,
Yeah.
as much as it like it irks me, because I feel like when you have, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, a future Hall of Fame quarterback on this team, that he would be the face of this franchise. But let's just call it what it really is. Julio Jones has been the face of this franchise. You know, he is the Falcon that you see in the NFL promos. He's the Falcon that you see in any other kind of promotion type stuff outside of the Atlanta Falcons promotion stuff. So he is the Falcon that everybody else knows. So it'd be real hard pressed to trade him off, you know?
Yeah, it would, man. But it's going to be interesting to see what this pressure does to them next season, man, because that's going to be rough.
What it's going to do, and something else we can get here in just a minute, but what it's going to do is it's going to cause the draft to be even that much more important, you know? And then you couple that with these college conferences, you know, canceling their seasons. That's going to make it, that's going to make it real interesting. Yeah. These scouts are going to have a real tough time this coming season to figure out, you know, who's worth. I mean, you got players opting out, like players that already like kind of have their draft status cemented, you know, at the smaller schools. You got these guys opting out that ain't going to have a year of tape. You know, you got so many other guys that aren't going to be able to have that year of tape, that it's going to put a lot of onus on the scout department to figure out who's going to be worth drafting next year.
Yeah. Well, as someone tweeted it about that, this is going to be definitely a blind draft.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of information you're used to getting from these coaches and stuff like that, you're not going to have, you know, access to that because they won't be playing.
Right.
Some of them. Now, the SEC hasn't yet said they're going to bail out. They're still trying to fight for it, and the ACC is trying to fight for it. But Big Ten and Pac-12 don't.
Well, I mean, I guess when you weren't bringing in as much revenue, you only had a few schools in the Big Ten and the Pac-12 that were bringing in the revenue, where the vast majority of your SEC schools and ACC schools bring in a pretty good amount of revenue. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they're fighting to keep theirs going. All right, let's jump back here in this chat. It is popping off like crazy, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm gonna skip over you, Matt Ryan hate talk. Y'all can have that.
We ain't trying to hear that.
Not right now. maybe in the season if things start going bad, but not right now. Right now we're gonna be positive. Iron Rain says, trade Julio. Have you lost your mind?
Hey, look, Doc, I'm not saying that I want Julio gone, but financial decisions in 2021 may make that a conversation. And if you're going to trade him, you need to trade him while he's still at the top of his game and not on the downside. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see him going at all.
I'm going to rename you Bill Belichick. You over here trying to trade him one year sooner than need so to be.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just looking at the financials. Doc. It's not going to be an easy fix next season. You're going to see a totally different team from what you're looking at right now in 2020.
Yeah,
right now, you enjoy
JL Hunt did a little bit of work for us. He said, while we may be in cap hell next year at a negative $45 million, our friendly neighborhood Saints are sitting at a negative $80 million.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
They're still paying people on the couch that played for them 5 years ago.
No doubt. Let's see. Anthony Wright said Justin McCray is a backup left guard. Jamon Brown is the backup to the right guard. And Matt Hennessy will be the backup to the center. It's all possible. Yeah. Jamil says that would be the dumbest move, even if the Falcons trade Jet Jones. Yes, I agree. We'll let Toby live in his dream world. That's okay.
Hey, I'm just saying, Doc. I'll be the devil's advocate.
There you go.
It's
hey, look, somebody got to be, right?
Hey,
Somebody got to be.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I'll be the one I'm going to do.
There you Irene says, if Julio gets traded, you might want to go into witness protection. Oh, no. Now, we'll
Ooh, I don't got y'all popping up in that thing.
to the point where Jimmy's over here loving the chat right now. Y'all are having great points. Jimmy's over here egging them on. Let's see here. Jerry says, I see Julio, Ridley, Hurst, and Treadwell on the field at the same time. Defenses will be shook. Yes, they very well could be shook. Yes, sir. Let's see where we at. Let's see. Not every BTW says not every QB in the Hall of Fame has won a Super Bowl. I guess they're talking off my comments. I already see people like somewhat comparing Matt Ryan to Dan Marino. That I mean, he could be our modern day if we don't pull off a Super Bowl in his career. Let's see. Wallace Smith said Arthur Blank says Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are Falcons for life. I believe him that they're going to be with us until they retire or the game starts going down. Yes, that's possible. I mean, you never know.
We don't want Arthur Blank saying Falcons for life no more. It just hikes the dollar amount.
Boy, that makes it expensive. Hey, Fred Butt says, "What's up, fellas? Ready for the season? What's up, Fred?
What's up?
Man, I thought you forgot about us, Fred." Let's see. Anthony Wright says, "No, Toby D, Julio Jones, and Matt Ryan will both retire as Falcons."
I hope so.
We'll see. Only a Herschel Walker deal is worth Julio Jones. Now, look, if somebody comes at me with a Herschel Walker deal, we may have to talk. I mean, I really like Julio, but you come at me with that much draft capital, we may have to talk. Let's see.
Hold on now.
Okay.
Hold on now.
Let's see. Jerry Dandridge Falcons says, I hope we sweep Tampa. I'm tired of the hype. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the geriatric clinic down there in Florida is going to produce. Let's see.
We're going to have to wait till the second half of the season to even think about that.
Right. True.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Say Cheese says, I think A.J. Terrell will be a lot like Patrick Peterson. Clemson had Terrell shadow the wide receivers in college. They got him some, but got him back. I know everybody focuses on the LSU game, but he's but 2 catches doesn't mean he got killed. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a what have you done for me lately, and that's the last film he had out there. So of course that's what everybody's going to focus on. But nobody else was stopping LSU, so I'm not going to put that all on A.J. Terrell. So Nature Boy says, top 10 defense and sacks. Let's go Falcons Nation. I hope so, brother. Man, I'd love to see it.
Yes.
Like, I don't think, in my time as a Falcons fan, we haven't come close to being top 10 in sacks. Last time we had what I would consider to be a consistent pass rush, the Predator was patrolling the line of scrimmage, and he didn't have no help. So I would really like to see them produce a formidable defensive line, regardless of how they have to get it. Whether it's, manufacturing rushing like blitzes from cornerbacks or safeties or whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I want quarterbacks to have their head on a swivel when they come play these dirty birds. That is what I'm wanting. That is what I am looking for. So, let's see. Jaden says a few years. A few years. Man, I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to talk about here. Talk about linemen. I think he says a few years linemen, big contracts that we can trade. I'm not trying to. If you could rephrase that, Jaden, I'd appreciate it. Jay Holland said, "Yo, what's up? What's up, Jay?"
Man, where you been at?
Right. That's all right. Hey, look, better late than never. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he ain't here tonight. Right. I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you, Jay.
Jamil Riggins says, what y'all guys think about week 2 versus the Cowboys? That's going to be interesting. I am interested to see what McCarthy is going to have these Cowboys looking like. And if his time here is any indicator, I am not too worried about Mike Nolan as a defensive coordinator. So I'll be interested to see what they can put together. I think that their offensive line isn't as formidable as it used to be. So Zeke Elliott is having to work a lot harder than when he first came into the league. Now, he's still a handful, but I believe that we have the horses to handle it myself.
Help me out, chat room. But it's the fullback that opted out for the Cowboys. Is that Zeke Elliott starting fullback?
Ooh.
Is that the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah, I
starting
didn't think
fullback
about
that
that.
opted out for the season?
And how much now? Correct me if I'm wrong. A fullback is a position that Mike McCarthy actually used quite a bit, right? They used to have Aaron Ripkowski up there in Green Bay.
Remember, Mike McCarthy kept the offensive coordinator, so he's going to give the offensive coordinator a lot of reign to call that offense. I think where he's going to stick his head in at a little bit more is the defense with Mike Nolan, since he's allowing the offensive coordinator to run the offense essentially that they've been running.
Right.
With a few wrinkles, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But like right now, I think it's a winnable game at this junction.
Yeah.
Right now, I will put our coaching staff above a new coaching staff with the way this offseason has been. I know that sounds, whatever, but the fact that we kept our coaching staff together, we only added, a few pieces to it, but the main brain trust is still in effect. I think that's going to pay dividends. And the fact that we've had nobody opt out, I think that's also going to pay dividends.
Oh, that was huge.
Yeah. So let's see. Jamil, let's see. Okay. Jerry says we play Seattle week 1, Dallas week 2, Chicago. Okay, he's just what's the record for the first quarter? So the first 4 games: Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, Green Bay. What I'm going to give us? I'm going to go for 2-2. I would have to look at what the home and away is. You know what? I'm rethinking this. I'm going to give us maybe 1 loss, and that may be to Seattle. And that's my toss-up. I think we can beat Dallas. We can beat Chicago with either Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky at the helm. And with whatever's brewing up in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, he might be disgruntled. We may be able to pull that one off. So that's my opinion there. What do you think of them first 4? What are you giving us?
I'm going 2-2.
2-2. Okay, that's safe.
I think we win both games at home.
Mm-hmm.
We lose the other 2 on the road.
Okay.
With Dallas and Green Bay.
I got you.
Yeah. And that's just my
yeah, because right now, like traveling with this COVID stuff, the different protocols there, that might be something I'm not factoring in. Let's see what else we got here. Kevin11 says, yo, what's up? I've been a Falcons fan since the Michael Turner days. Well, we're glad you're here, Kevin. He is a
7-11. That's what I'm talking
enjoyed
about.
watching Michael Turner. That much for sure. Let's see. What do you guys think about this? Dave wants to know what we think about sacks by committee. That's what I just said, man. I'll take sacks how I can get them. If it's coming from A-gap blitzes or safety sacks, or I don't care. If it's coming from a whole bunch of different angles and a bunch of different platforms, I'm fine with that. As long as we get into the quarterback, that's all I care about.
Exactly.
I don't care who gets it.
And I echo all of those sentiments.
Let's see. Anthony Wright says, where did that go? It says, all I have to say is Falcons Nation is do not believe the hype, as 70% of the country is on the Tampa hype train. They will fall on their faces. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Tampa does. How Tampa pulls this off. How Tom Brady meshes with Bruce Arians. Those are 2 pretty headstrong personalities there. So it'll be interesting to see how they mesh. So Wallace Smith says Toby D don't know that just because they we don't know that just because they kept the OC. McCarthy likes to run his offense like he did in Green Bay. Yeah, McCarthy was known for taking away and grabbing play calling duties and giving it back and doing all that jazz. So it'll be real interesting to see.
Well, we actually do know that. Yeah. We actually do know that because McCarthy has gone on record saying he's going to allow the offensive coordinator to keep the offense that they have. So we actually do know that.
Now,
I wouldn't be saying it if I
didn't. Is that Kellen Moore? And is that who, did he keep Kellen Moore? Ain't that who the?
Yeah, he kept the offensive coordinator. I can't remember who it is right now.
Right.
Maybe the chat can help me out with that. But he did say that he's going to allow the offense to be run. I think he's going to add some wrinkles in there that will be some of his own twists. But I do feel like he's going to allow that because the offense has had some success. You know, and they got pieces and they added more pieces. The wide receiver core over there right now is looking pretty doggone good and tough for the Falcons to have to deal with this season.
I got you. Okay. Cool. Let's see. All right. Well, we were bumping up on an hour, as we do from time to time. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you were looking to cover?
Oh, now you already know we can't get off here without talking about the Vic Beasley
Oh
situation.
yeah, that's right.
A lot of people
Boy,
was looking at that and hoping for that 5th-round pick.
I don't think that's gonna happen, Doc.
But
I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah,
Now, granted, if we counting on 5th-round picks to make or break us, we in trouble anyway. But
right.
but that just goes to show and prove almost the stuff that we were hearing about his love and passion for this game.
Right.
And I guess, look at it like this. Essentially, Vic Beasley was Dan Quinn's first child, right? And you don't ever want to give up on your first child. I know a lot of people were upset with them, keeping his 5th-year option and paying him $12 million, so on and so forth. But I was thinking they were hoping for one last-ditch effort to get him on the same page and get him properly motivated. Now, I don't know what's going on in that man's life, but football is definitely not, his top priority. And if it's something that is bothering him or something, I hope he gets like whatever help he needs, right? That's kind of what I'm leaning at right there. Is if it's something off the field, I hope he can get it straightened out.
Yeah, I will say this. I mean, I wish nothing but the best for him. I don't know what's going on. He failed his physical.
Mm-hmm.
It took him a while to get into camp. And then when he gets there, he fails the physical. So I don't know what's going on in this man's life either. But I can tell you this much. On the brighter side about that, the Falcons have given him enough money picking up his physical option so that he can take time off to figure out what he wants to do with the rest of his life.
I mean, for sure. Like he said, being a first-round pick, he got his full, contract there and the 5th-year option for another like 12 or 14 million, whatever it was. As long as he's been smart with his money, he's cool. He's fine. Somebody just made a comment. David M. said, Vic will be a school teacher in the near future, which is a good thing. Yeah, he ain't got to worry financially. That much is for sure. But I hope that he figures out whatever is needs to spark in his life. That's for sure. Hey, Ghost Pepper says, at J.R. and Toby, do you think Dirk Cutter will be able to establish a more balanced offense in his second season as OC? Define balanced offense for Dirk Cutter. I'm being a smart aleck for a reason because I think Dirk Cutter's balanced offense is throwing on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a balance for him.
Yeah.
I hope he does. Can he? He can. He's shown that he's been able to do that in the past. But depending on what his decrees that have been laid down for him, he is a pass-first OC, period, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen all these running backs working extremely hard on route running. So Dirk Cutter views screens and bubble screens and wheel routes and all that kind of stuff as his run game. So that's the balance I expect him to get. Somebody David M. just says 60-40 run pass. Doubt it. You might get 70-30 pass run. If I'm being if I'm being realistic here. I don't like I said, it just depends on what decree that has been laid down via Dan Quinn or whatever. And how much freedom he's been given. So, but left to Dirk Cutter's devices, Dirk is going to throw the ball as much as possible. So that's the way I see that going. Well, man, I think we're going to wrap it up. We have definitely bumped up on an hour. We appreciate y'all. Hey, look, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned next week and come back. We're going to have Jimmy and Mike on with us next Tuesday during our live stream. We're going to have the full Pound per Pound family up in here. So we highly encourage y'all to come back and jump in the chat with us. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have some more information coming out of camp by that time. Because I think by then the coaches will be on the field, so it'll be interesting to see what comes about. But as you can see on the graphics, there's all of our Twitter handles. You can hit us up, follow us if you haven't. If you just want to shoot us an email, the email's there as well. There's plenty of different ways to get a hold of us and shoot us questions or comments or whatever. But we very much appreciate y'all jumping in and stopping by and talking with us. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.